Hey, what's up guys? Gary Walker here with WalkerFitMuscle.com and welcome back for another video. All right, I've been focusing on hard gainers with this series. So this video is all about how to build muscle when you are skinny. So if you're a hard gainer, you've been trying to build muscle, but you've been struggling to do things right, then this video is for you. That being said, let's get started. All right, before we get into the actual video, here's the thing. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Also, make sure you click on that bell icon. That way you get notified every time I upload a new video. All right, here's the thing. This video is going to focus on 3 key things that are going to be crucial for you if you really want to maximize your muscle building. Also, this is basically going to be a part 1 because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into depth over the nutrition here. I've got another video that is going to actually show you what specifically to eat. That's going to be part 2 of this video. So if you're interested in that, stick around, make sure you watch that video as well. Also, I've already filmed a hard gainer video breaking down the actual workout strategy, nutrition strategy, how to implement it, how many days a week to work out, all those things. So make sure you watch that video if you haven't already. I'll make sure to link it into this video. So once you finish watching this one, you can go back and watch that one. Here's the thing with that video though, it is a long video. It's over 20 minutes long. So make sure you have pen and note because I wanted to go in depth to make sure you maximize your muscle gains. So when you watch that video, be prepared to take notes. Watch it a couple times if you have to because there's a lot of great tips that I share with you in there. All right, that being said, this one here, if you're a skinny guy, man, here's the thing. A lot of people forget about the skinny guys. A lot of people forget about the hard gainers. Right now, the world, the society, the fitness society, it's all about losing weight. That's the main problem facing our society today is obesity. Obesity that is linking people to heart disease, diabetes, all sorts of issues that come along with that. However, there's another group of you guys out there that are just naturally skinny, man, and that's my background. I started as a hard gainer. I'm actually old enough now, I'm 46, so I've gone through both. I started out a hard gainer, I gained a lot of muscle, a lot of size, competed in bodybuilding, then life kind of got in the way in my 30s to where I started getting the fat also. So I put on a lot more fat than I liked. So I went through and got onto a fat loss nutrition plan, workout plan, and I created that as well. But all that being said, I just basically want you to know that most of what you've been told to do if you're a hard gainer is wrong. All right, I started so long ago, it was prior to the internet. So I had to go off of magazines, bodybuilding magazines, weightlifting magazines. I had to go to the library and read a lot of outdated material. I studied at university when I went to college, and unfortunately back in the early 90s, a lot of that was outdated. Basically, what I realized is I spent the first 5 years trying to get extremely strong. I remember being told, eat everything, eat as much as you can, and lift as heavy as possible. So I did that. I got stronger, but I also gained a little bit of the wrong kind of weight. All right, so that's the one thing you want to make sure that you are focused on doing, eating quality nutrition. So basically what I want to do for you with this video, how to structure your nutrition plan to maximize your gains, also how to know when to up those calories, man, because at the end of the day, the #1 most important thing if you're trying to build muscle as a skinny person is you need to focus on nutrition and eating in a caloric surplus. All right, basically meaning caloric surplus. For instance, if you need 2,500 calories just to maintain your current weight, homeostasis, your body's always trying to just be in the maintenance mode. It doesn't really want to gain muscle, so you're gonna have to force it. Okay, there's a lot of BMR calculators. I've actually got one on my website, WalkerFitMuscle.com. You can go there and check out my BMR calculator, or you can just enter in Google, man, BMR, which is basal metabolic rate. online calculator. You're gonna plug in your height, weight, age, and it's gonna give you a rough estimate of how many calories you need to maintain your current weight. So that is the most accurate way to do it, but I'm gonna give you the most convenient way, and I'm gonna break it down for you and show you. That way you know exactly where to start so you can get started as soon as possible, okay? But here's the key. Not only do you need to focus on the number one thing, your nutrition, and eating in a calorie surplus, your weight training, resistance training. When you're lifting weights, you want to make sure you're doing the right type of weight training. Again, when I told you initially, all I tried to do was get strong, lift extremely heavy. Here's what I became. I became that kid, that guy in the gym that said, man, you're really strong for your size. How did you get so strong for being so skinny? That's not what I was going for, okay? So at the end of the day, you've got to realize strength training and hypertrophy training, muscle growth training, are two separate goals. You can do both simultaneously, but it's going to slow down your muscle growth. If you want to maximize building muscle, you need to lift to build muscle, which is hypertrophy training. So the key with hypertrophy training, the one thing I recommend is the rep range needs to be alternated. If you're doing compound multi-joint movements, again, I break this down in my other videos, so if you have questions about what some of these movements are, what type of exercises I'm talking about, then make sure you check out that other video, okay? But compound multi-joints. So when you're doing compound movements, basically, quick reference is gonna be squats, deadlifts, bench press, barbell rows, overhead press, all of those multi-joint movements, you wanna shoot for about the 6 to 8 rep range. Don't go below 6. Don't shoot for the singles and the doubles and a lot of powerlifting type training, CrossFit type training. A lot of those are geared towards mostly building strength. And that's not what your goal is if you want to pack on size. Hypertrophy training, 6 to 8. When you're doing other types of exercises, for instance, you've got a compound chest movement and you're hitting that for 6 to 8 reps, then you want to go into a fly movement or a pec deck movement, something like that. I like the 10 to 12 reps for those. Okay, 10 to 12 reps, and I like to alternate between those. So for instance, what I recommend is 4 workouts a week if you're a hard gainer. You don't grow in the gym. You don't grow when you're working out all the time. Initially, again, I thought if I worked out 6 or 7 days a week, I'm gonna grow. That's not how it works. In the gym, you're breaking down your muscle. You're doing everything necessary to prep your body for growth. However, it's outside the gym, that's where you grow. When you're resting, you're allowing your body to recover, replenish. And you've gotta fuel your body. You've gotta make sure you're eating enough to replenish, otherwise you're gonna overtrain. You're gonna actually get smaller and not bigger. That's why we're about to go into the nutrition breakdown. But the 3 big things I wanted to talk to you about, without going into too much detail, we're gonna go into detail with this. Resistance training, 4 days per week. I've broken down a specific workout in my other video, check that out. But the last thing that's going to be key is definitely rest. I just touched on it. So rest days. When you're resting, that doesn't mean go play basketball. That doesn't mean you're active with cardio or doing anything like that. If you're a true hard gainer, man, you need to preserve those calories for muscle growth. You actually need to have some lazy days. I've had hard gainers reach out to me and they just love basketball, or they love being active. They love climbing mountains and hills and doing all these other things. If that's you, it will be a little more difficult for you to gain weight. However, you still can. You can still put on muscle. You're just gonna have to compensate for those extra days. For instance, on a day that you're off from resistance training, if you go play basketball for 2 hours, let's say you burn 500 calories. Well, those 500 calories have to be added on to your nutrition plan. You have to compensate for those 500 calories. You can't eat normal, burn an extra 500 and think you're gonna gain weight. You've gotta replenish those extra calories. So that's the difference. You're just gonna have to eat more. Okay, so that's gonna be the main thing. But you do have to have your rest days. Also, sleep is included in rest. You need to make sure you're getting 8 hours of sleep. Fast-paced society, I get it. A lot of people stay up late on your phones, on your computer, watching Netflix, doing all these other things. If you want to prioritize muscle growth, you can't do that. Cut it off. All right, cut it off an hour prior to going to bed. You can still do it during the day, but just cut it off. Same with pre-workouts. 4 hours prior to going to bed, don't have any caffeine. Whether it's a pre-workout stimulant or it's coffee, anything like that, cut it out 4 hours. That way, when it's time to go to bed, your body is gonna be ready. It's not gonna be full of this energy from the stimulant. So also make sure your bedroom is comfortable, man. Dark room, cool room, quiet room, whatever you need to get into that deep sleep. Because your deep REM sleep, REM sleep, which is rapid eye movement sleep, that's when your body is gonna produce those hormones, growth hormones specifically. You want your body to produce maximum amounts of growth hormone when you're sleeping. Also boost your testosterone levels. That's gonna help you with your muscle growth. All right, so I just wanted to briefly touch on that without getting too long. So now let's go into what I'm gonna recommend for your nutrition. All right, here's how you're gonna structure this. Being a skinny dude, man, you're a skinny guy, hard gainer. Basically, I'm gonna give you a starting point and then show you how to progress, because at the end of the day, it's all about progressions. You can't start with what I'm telling you to do and just continue that for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and think your body's gonna grow. Our bodies are going to adapt. Your body will adapt to everything you start doing. Once it adapts, you have to make changes. You have to make improvements. So that's same with nutrition, same with your workouts. You've got to constantly be improving, so you're giving your body a reason to need to improve itself, to need to build more muscle, build more stamina, all of those things, okay? So here's what I'm gonna recommend. You wanna take your weight, current weight. Hopefully you can see this good. Current weight, and multiply that, let's go times 18. This is gonna give you your starting calories, okay? How many calories you need to start taking. The next thing you wanna do is your carbohydrates. You're gonna multiply the number you get here by 45%. So 45% of your overall calories are gonna come from carbs. I'll break this down in more detail here in a minute. From here, you want to calculate your protein for the day. Your protein is actually gonna be lower than you're thinking. It's 25%. Protein is the building block, all right? Protein is what builds muscle. However, there's a certain amount you need to actually maximize your overall protein levels. You don't really need a whole lot of protein when you're trying to just maximize growth. Typically how this works, if you're skinny, then you need to focus on complex carbohydrates and fats. Make sure you have enough protein still to build the muscle, but you need to fuel your workouts and you need to keep your glycogen levels full, which is coming from the complex carbohydrates. But the main thing you really need to focus on is being consistent with the calorie surplus. You can't have 2 or 3 good days and then hardly eat the 4th and 5th day. You've gotta be consistent throughout this whole entire process, okay? But real quick, the way I recommend my protein, when you jacked, you start gaining a lot of weight and you're trying to cut down for a show or something like that, that's when you up your actual protein levels and lower your complex carbs, but you are nowhere near ready for that when you're a hard gainer. So that's why you're gonna see 45 being a lot higher than the protein here. And now that leaves us for your fats. Fats are gonna be 30%. 30% of your overall calories are coming from fats. Okay, so let me let you look at that real quick, and then I'll break this down for you. And let's take a weight of 150 pounds. Say you're a 150 pound dude. All right, 150 pounds. Let me go and clear this, make some more room. All right, if you are 150 pounds, where do you start? You're going to multiply by 18. Multiply by 18, that's gonna give you 2,700 calories, okay? 2,700 calories. Like I said, you need to be eating in a surplus. This is just giving you a starting point, because at the end of the day, we're all different, we're all unique, we all have different metabolisms, different jobs, different activity levels. Everything is gonna be unique for you. So I'm giving you a reference point, a place to start, and then you need to write it down, all right? That's the other thing. Get a journal, write it down, write your starting point so you know when it's time to progress. All right, from here, we're gonna calculate your carbs. Hopefully this doesn't run out on me. See that ink isn't doing so great. So if you calculate 45% of the 2,700 calories, that's gonna give you 1,215 calories, okay? 1,215. Here's one other point I wanna make. There are, let's get carbs, protein, fat. 4 calories per gram of carbs, okay? 4 calories per gram of protein. This is why fat is so much more dense. 9 calories for every gram of fat you get. This has 9. It's more than double of your carbs and your fat. That's not extremely important to know the reason, but the reason I'm putting that there for you is because you have 1,215 calories every day that you're gonna have to consume from carbs. So to figure out how many grams of carbs that is, all we're gonna do is divide that by 4, okay? So 1,215, you divide that by 4, that's gonna give you how many grams of carbohydrates that you need. So that's actually gonna be 304 grams. All right, 304 grams of carbs per day. All right, so now you've got that down. Let's go ahead and calculate our protein. All right, same thing, 2,700, and you are going to calculate 25%, which is gonna give you 675 calories, all right? 675 calories. Again, protein, 4 grams. So that's gonna be divided by 4. Divided by 4, and that's gonna give you 169 grams of protein per day. All right, so 169 grams of protein per day, 304 grams of carbs per day. Now we're gonna do fat. So again, 2,700, and we're gonna take 30% of that is gonna be 810 calories. Here's where we change things. That 810 calories is gonna be divided by the 9. All right, 9 is gonna give you how many grams you need of fat. So that's gonna be 90 grams of fat per day. Okay, let's see if that makes sense to you. So if you're a 150-pound dude, you've figured out your total daily calories. Broken down, that's gonna be 304 grams of carbs, 169 grams of protein, 90 grams of fat. Here's the next thing. This is your starting point. So what I always recommend, and to make this more convenient for you, divide the amount of meals you're going to have. So if you want to eat 5 meals a day, then you'll divide 304 by 5. That'll give you how many grams of carbs you need per meal. Same with the 169 grams of protein divided by 5. Or if you want 4 meals a day, do the same thing. 304 divided by 4. You'll divide all of these by 4, 5, or 6, depending on how many meals you want to eat per day. If you can schedule 6 meals a day, that's eating every 2.5 to 3 hours, then do that. Make sure you're getting those calories in. At the end of the day, you want to hit those numbers. All right, here's where the journal comes in. You're hitting these numbers, do it for 14 straight days. Write all of this down, take your starting weight, take your starting measurements, and you're 150 pounds, you know your starting point, you're going to eat these macronutrients. That's what these are. These are your 3 macronutrients: carbs, proteins, and fats. And you want these to be as clean as possible though. You don't really want a bunch of, when I'm talking 90 grams of fats, I don't mean hot dogs, hamburgers, pizza. You want good essential fats, you know, from the egg yolks. If you do beef, then the fats in the beef. Grass-fed butter is another good fats. Oils, olive oil, coconut oil, macadamia nut oil, avocados. All of those are good fat sources. Some nuts, almonds, Brazilian nuts, macadamia nuts. All of those are good fat sources. So that's where most of these should be coming from. All right, so Once you write everything down, you follow this, you write down what you eat for 14 days. 14 days, has that number gone up? Did it go up to 155 pounds? If it did, keep doing this for another 7 days. After the initial 14, you're gonna make an adjustment. After that adjustment, you're gonna make adjustments usually every week to 2 weeks. Here's what happens. If you gained 2 to 5 pounds with this, you keep it until that stalls. If you did all of this and this went down to 149 pounds, okay, then you want to actually add 300 calories here. Add 300 calories and reconfigure everything based on 3,000 calories. Then the next week, okay, did you gain a pound, 2 pounds, 3 pounds? Stick to it. If you're making progress, there's no reason to change. Don't change just for the sake of making change. That's gonna lead to a plateau down the road. So you wanna take minimal adjustments, take minimal improvements and adapt that way. So that's basically all you have to do here. That's how you know to make progress. If you're 4 weeks in, you've done this, you've gained 2 pounds in 2 weeks, another pound the 3rd week, another pound the 4th week, then man, you're making progress. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't change it until you get to a stagnant point. If you're at 155 after 3 weeks, and then you go into that 4th week and you're still at 155, go ahead and make that bump, that calorie bump. Reconfigure, and then reconfigure these meals exactly like that. And I'll write them up here again just one more time. This was 0.45. That's what 2,700 calories multiplied by 0.45 gave us 1,215. All right, protein was 0.25. Same thing, 2,700 multiplied by 0.25 gives you 675, and then fats 0.30. All right, so this is what I recommend. You pair this nutrition strategy with the workouts in my other video, and if you want a specific workout, man, if you go back to that video and be like, you think I need to write down the actual workout you should be doing, I've actually got a couple of those workouts. But if you want something that I would recommend more specific for you hard gainers, then put that in the comment section. Leave me a comment and let me know what you want, what you need help with, and I will record a video to help you out with that as well, because at the end of the day, man, I want you to be successful. But hopefully this makes sense to you. I just wanted to put something in writing for you. That way you know exactly what you have to do to grow. Everybody can grow. It may be harder for you. I mean, these 2,700 is your starting calories. You may be at 4,700. I want you to realize that as well before you start growing. If you need 4,700 calories, if you get to a point to where it's just too hard to eat that much, that's when I recommend liquid calories. So again, that other video goes into some liquid calories. You can make a couple different weight gainer shakes. Don't go buy a weight gainer shake. The weight gainers that you buy from the store are full of maltodextrin, dextrose, a lot of fillers, a lot of bad sugars that are actually gonna put the wrong kind of weight on you. You'll start gaining more around your waist, less around your chest, legs, arms, shoulders, the places you really want to focus on gaining the weight, all right? So make your homemade, and again, that other video, check that one out, because there's some homemade suggestions for you to make a homemade gainer, because at the end of the day, man, it's all about getting those calories in and being consistent with it. But I hope this video helped you out. If you have any questions, like I said, comment below and let me know. If you like the video, man, let me know how many hard gainers I have out there. Even if you have no other questions, but you're a hard gainer, comment with the word hard gainer, because that allows me to know how many of you guys are hard gainer compared to all the ones that just want to lose weight. If I got a good group of hard gainers, I'm gonna consistently pump out content just for you, because I'm passionate about helping those hard gainers out as well. So comment below hard gainer. Also, if you liked the video, give me a thumbs up, man. And that's all I got. Get busy, get after it, and God bless.